and Congressman Peter Hoekstra.
Your Money, Your Questions. We continue to put your questions, and by the way, that's the email address, yourmoney@woodtv.com, to members of Congress, beginning with Congressman Peter Hoekstra. Thank you for being here with us. More questions now. This one comes from Tom in Granville. He goes, I'd like to know what our government is doing to bring back manufacturing. I'm all for re-education, but at 51, like many others who have spent the last 20 or 30 years in non-union factory work, there isn't much to look forward to in the last years before retirement. We hear from a lot of folks like that.
Yeah, I think the things we need to do is we need to go back and take a look at our trade agreements with China. We also need to take a look at the new policies that are being proposed. This cap and trade on energy, that will be the death knell to manufacturing, not only in Michigan, but nationwide. We can't move in that direction. And then, we've got to go back and make sure we've got tax policies in place that encourage manufacturing. We compete with anybody else in the world as long as we've got the right structure.
We're going to move on, and this one comes to us from Doug. Doug asks this: if we have the highest state unemployment, why do we have to wait so long to get unemployment money, and why is it so hard to do? That's largely a state issue, but I know that your office deals with those issues.
We get a lot of the complaints. People have had to wait in line because the lines have been so long. Clearly, the state was unprepared for what happened with the number of people who were claiming unemployment for the first time. They couldn't keep up with the workload. Unacceptable. You could see this coming. I think you can see it coming. As I talk to manufacturers on that, we're going to have another wave of unemployment hit this state, I think, in the next 4 to 8 weeks.
And finally, this one comes in from Roger, and he asks, wouldn't it be better to jumpstart the economy by giving the taxpayer more than $13 a week in their checks? Many people will not buy big-ticket items, knowing they only have an extra $13. We talked about this a little earlier, but there is a school of thought that says give the money to individuals on the ground to get the money flowing.
I agree with Roger. Give it to individuals, give it to businesses. I think about 2/3 of the stimulus package went to the federal government for them to have new programs. We were the pig at the trough. The federal government was. We'd be much better off if Roger and his boss and where he worked got that money so that they could invest in the future of the state.
Congressman, thank you very much. This is just the beginning of the conversations we're going to have with members of the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, other decision makers. It's all about your money, your questions, right here on 24 Hour News 8.